Good morning, Raptor Freaks. It's Friday, and I'm freaking out because it's the opening day of WNBA season. That's right. In 1 year, Toronto Tempo will be tipping off for the first time in a WNBA regular season, but not this year. We missed the boat for this year, unfortunately. We should have been starting right now, but MLSC rejected the WNBA, and Tannenbaum and Kilmer Group had to pick up the pieces and get it still at some point. Thank God we're going to have a team is what I'm going to say. But yeah, I'll say on this day, the day that the Toronto Tempo should be starting with the Valkyries, shame on you, Ed Rogers. I'll say that because today is the day we should have had WNBA basketball starting in Toronto today. But we'll get it next year. And we're very, very excited about it. There's a ad campaign out by the Toronto Tempo today saying 1 year from today, we're going to start. And it's very inspiring. It's very well cut, edit, thrown together of different images and talking about the concept of the word tempo as a heartbeat, as a pulse, as a pivot, as a it's a beat. It's all kinds of different things. A tempo. And I'm excited. I'm here for it. I'm ready to become a tempo freak. Yeah, I might have to change my name to the channel in the summer times to Tempo Freak. That's right, because we're going to go like that here on this channel, on the Raptor Freak channel, when the Toronto Tempo begin. Of course, our fantasy league is starting up today also. With good luck to all the managers. We do have one team that we didn't go over, but I don't care. In some ways, he doesn't care, so we don't care about doing his team, and that's just how it is. But yeah, it's going to be. There's quite a few games today in the WNBA to start. We've got the Dream visiting the Mystics at 7:30. The Lynx will be playing Dallas, and the Sparks are playing against Valkyries in their first ever game tonight. So 3 games on the docket for the WNBA tonight. Yeah, it's going to be fun. There's a lot of movement that's happened. I found out just now that this morning that they waived Diamond DeShields in Connecticut. So I had to get on the waiver wire and get a replacement for Diamond, who I guess she just hasn't come back from her injuries exactly right. And the Connecticut Sun have parted ways with her as of this morning. So I got to get something going with that. Yeah, it's Friday Freakout. Let's talk, Raptor Freaks. Let me know what y'all are talking about and thinking about in the comments today, and we'll talk NBA playoffs. We'll talk Raptors draft. We'll talk WNBA. That's right, baby. Let's go. All right, let me see what Trevor's got for us first thing right now. Commissioner Jay, how are you today? Don't fear the enemy who attacks you. Fear the fake friend who hugs you. Don't fear either one. Just know who they are and just make sure you understand who they are. Because if you don't know who you are, in trouble. You know, I love Survivor. We were watching Survivor yesterday. And spoilers, you know, if you haven't watched the Wednesday episode, you know, there was really interesting stuff by the Canadian player, Camilla, about throwing all kinds of worry and paranoia into the game on the firefighter named Joe, about the one player named Shaheen. And I'm saying, yeah, you know, in Survivor, that's an environment where you have a lot of people that act like your friends and they aren't. It's scary. But yeah, you know, either way, I actually, you know, I think this is exactly right. Don't worry about the people that you know are your enemy because they're already in front of you and you already know that. Worry about people that act like they're your friend and they're actually on the down low behind your back, stabbing you in the back, and they're an enemy. That's horrible. That sucks. Thank you, Trevor, for your words of wisdom this morning. He's also saying that the WNBA season begins today. 13 teams will fight for the championship. Yeah, I've got the power rankings. Thank you for posting them in the chat, Trevor. 2025 WNBA power rankings on the opening day today. New York Liberty, the defending champions, are number 1 on this power rankings list. Minnesota Lynx, number 2. The Dynasty juggernaut Las Vegas Aces at number 3. Indiana Pacers, Indiana Fever, number 4. Atlanta Dream, 5. Seattle Storm, 6. Phoenix Mercury. Los Angeles Sparks. Dallas Wings. Chicago Sky. Connecticut Sun. Washington Mystics. And then the expansion Golden State Valkyries at the bottom of the pile. So we'll have to see if this is how it's all going to shake out this year as far as things. Probably not. We'll have to see. There'll be some teams that are going to do better and some teams that are going to do worse. But who do you guys think is going to win the WNBA championship this year? Is it going to be a repeat by the Liberty? Is it going to be the Aces coming back with Aja Wilson and taking their crown back? Will it be an upstart team like Indiana Fever or the Minnesota Lynx? And the Lynx have won a few championships, so they're established WNBA team. So yeah, we'll have to see how this season goes. It's tip off tonight. Are you excited? Watch some WNBA action. Of course, the NBA playoffs are hot and heavy. We have as Trevor says here, Nuggets force a Game 7 on Sunday. So Denver beat Oklahoma City last night in Game 6. It's 3-3, Denver and Oklahoma City, and they will play a Game 7 on Sunday. And this is going to be, I think Kirthika of TSN saying that this is like one of the 6th or 7th Game 7s of Nicola's career. And a lot of them have happened in Denver. Also, it's been noted by her that David Edelman, the coach of the Nuggets, now has more playoff wins than regular season wins. And this is an anomaly. This has never really happened in the history of the NBA, where a coach has more wins in the postseason in their career than in the regular season, because he came on as the head coach so late in the season. He did not collect very many regular season wins, and he has more wins in playoff games than regular season games right now. 7 playoff wins to I think six regular season wins. Isn't that crazy? We'll probably never ever see this ever again, and this will not last past this year. Obviously, he'll do this year. He'll have this anomaly for this end of the season. But next year, if he's back for their coach again, maybe they should just fire him this summer, and then he can be perfect and be like, I have more playoff wins than regular season wins. That's great. Yeah, but you're not the coach anymore. But yeah, it's Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray playing sick. Everybody's posting all these pictures of him like he's Michael Jordan against Utah. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Come on, y'all. Some people have too much time on their hands to be making Jamal Murray's face go over Michael Jordan from vintage pictures from playoff series against Karl Malone and John Stockton. Saying Jamal Murray's flu game. It's interesting. Good for them. You know, Thunder got to get it together and get their bit players to start showing up. In some ways, it's like, can't just be SGA. Y'all are going to need your role players to show up and finish things to help y'all in this last game in Oklahoma City, at least on Sunday. Yeah, big deal. Yeah, Trevor's brought up a prospect who's at the Combine. Trevor's been watching the Combine pretty closely. And, well, there's a Chinese guy who's 7'2", named Hansen Yang. And he's really good, apparently, according to Trevor. Good footwork, and he can pass the ball inside the paint. No answer for him at the NBA Draft Combine. I saw some of the footage of Hansen, and I would say this. He seems too skinny still. Like you may be thinking nobody can do anything with him, but that's not true. In the Combine scrimmages, you know, he can get away with that against the youngsters that he's playing with. It's kind of like Summer League. The Summer League competition is like the Combine competition. It's not NBA competition. A lot of the guys that are playing in the Combine scrimmages are guys that will not make the league. They're just dudes that are there working out, and they're hoping they'll get drafted. If you look at the box scores for these scrimmages, you're going to see a bunch of no names that you're like, who is that? I haven't even heard of that person being involved in the draft. So we can't really gauge this too much for him being dominant. I looked at his frame, and he's skinny. He's really, really skinny. He's not that strong. He's got some offensive polish to his game already, but I think it's a non-starter here with him. In some ways, he looks slow too, is what I would say. There's another guy, though, at the Combine that is really looking good, though, and it's that French guy, Maxime Renault. That guy is impressive, and he's somebody that I would fully endorse the Raptors getting, hopefully in the second round at 39, because that dude would be good. But these big men that I started looking around to see who the big men are in this draft, and there are some interesting ideas. Like there's this Rocco guy who's 7'4", Rocco Zikarsky or something like that, and he's somebody that maybe the Raptors may be looking at. You know, you guys have got these Ivisic brothers that are later in the second round that are around. They look a little skinny, though. You know, there's some options with true 7-footers in this draft. But, Common's the only one really in the top 10. And then after that, you get some right around maybe 20 that you might want to pick. But yeah, this is something that if they really are truly looking for a backup center to put behind Jakob this year from the draft, well, in some ways, there's only like 10 true centers in this league. I mean, in this draft this year, it's only like 10 of them. There's not that many. Trevor's saying Stephen A. Smith says he can't wait to watch Michael Jordan call the game on NBC. He's not going to call the game on NBC. Stephen A. Smith, you're crazy, bro. You think that Michael Jordan's going to sit down and talk during the whole entire game like he's calling the game? No, he's not. They'd be lucky if they get him to sit down for one segment like Drake did for the Raptors before he got banished for talking some crazy junk. No, Michael Jordan will not be sitting there. Stephen A. Smith, you're really dumb, aren't you, man? You're really, really dumb. Like, I'm getting the impression that you're a dumb guy, Stephen A. Seriously. You really think Michael Jordan's going to do any commentary during games? Like, sitting there, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. That man makes tons of money doing nothing at this point. He just has to be a brand. His name makes money, and he could sit at home. You think Michael Jordan is going to toil with his vocal cords on a broadcast and talk for a whole game? No, he's not, Stephen A. Smith. You're crazy, bro. It just shows just how not with reality you are, man. Michael Jordan doesn't do commentary. Have you ever heard Michael Jordan sit down and be on a broadcast anywhere and say anything? No, you haven't, because he won't do this. And Stephen A. Smith's an idiot for saying this. He's not going to be doing this. I'm telling you right now, special contributor, that means he's going to come in and say the NBA on NBC. And that's it. That's it. That's what you're going to get, Stephen A. Smith. You expecting Michael Jordan to sit down and sit for a whole game and call the game work? You expect that man to work the game? No, he ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it. You're crazy, Stephen A. Smith. You crazy for saying this. I can't wait for Michael Jordan to call the game. He's not going to. You know he's not. So why the hell did you even say this? Is this some way of you, ABC, Disney, ESPN head, whose competition is trying to make people get their hopes up for something that ain't going to happen? Is this some sort of weird gaslighting that you're doing, Stephen A. Smith? Because this shit is not going to happen, y'all. I'm telling you right now. If it does, I'll be shocked. I'll be absolutely shocked if Michael Jordan will put a headset and sit at the side of the court and do any kind of color commentary. I'll be shocked. If it happens, I'll be welcoming it. It'd be interesting, but don't hold your breath. We'd be lucky to get him to sit in a studio and with Vince Carter and do like 2 minutes of commentary at halftime. You'd be lucky to get that. I'm telling you right now, that man does not need to do this. He's not a broadcaster. He is not a broadcaster, guys. And in some ways, Michael is not trained to be a broadcaster. I'm going to say this right now. He is not. He's not. In some ways, he's very smart. He understands basketball very well. He probably could talk basketball, but he's not professionally trained for television. And you need to understand this. He really isn't. And he may say whatever the hell he wants to say. He could be a little bit of a loose cannon, I'll bet. He may actually get rubbed the wrong way and actually like say something to somebody that's not right on TV. Seriously, because he's like that. It's Michael. He's Michael. He can be Michael. He can say whatever the hell he wants. It's Michael Jordan, for Pete's sake. So, Trevor, man, I can't believe Stephen A. Smith said this. He's an idiot. If this happens, I'll be like, yeah, the sky is falling, or a cow jumped over the moon or something like that. If this happens, seriously, I'll be absolutely shocked. Once again, special contributor probably means the NBA on NBC. And that's it. He comes out and says it at the end. He smiles real big, and he does his smile for Hanes underwear. And he says the NBA on NBC and smiles. And that's it. It's over. That's it. That's all you're going to get. I'm telling you right now. The word special contributor, that's what it means right there. Special contributor right there. Seymour saying 7'4", Rocco Zukowski. Zakarski. Yeah, he's Australian, right? Rocco. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. I wonder if Bobby and Masai know about this guy and what they want to know about him and how much they know about him and whether he is any kind of on their radar. I wonder. Rocco, 7'4". 7'4". Yeah, French guy, a Chinese guy, and an Australian guy, all over 7 foot. Who's coming? Who's going to be in the league? Who's going to get a good spot in the league? Who wants to come play for the Raptors? That's what I want to know. All you international 7-footers. Who are we talking to? Rocco Zukowski? Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. James is saying, Lex, when you do your version of the 5 draft choices, when are you doing the 5 choices for the 9th draft pick? I don't know yet. I should do that and get that together for next week. Probably for next week's Thursday think tank. I'll work on that by then, and I'll probably have it for next week. You give me homework. I'll get that homework done, James. Yeah, I should come up with a list of 5. And Common's number 1 still, even if he's not realistic, possibly to get at 9 because he may be off the board already. A lot of the mock drafts are showing Malawatch picked by Brooklyn at 8. It's crazy. It is what it is. But yeah, I'll give you those 5 choices soon, James. I promise. I promise. I'll get them together in the next week. Reggie's here. Good to see Smooth. Given Giannis's desire to stay in the East, Lex, do you think the Bucks honor that preference? Once again, the thing about this is a lot of this could just be smoke and no fire. I'm going to say this right now. The thing about Giannis is he's extremely loyal. He doesn't really want to leave Milwaukee in some ways. Like in some ways, he really does want to just stay on the Bucks. And in some ways, we know the Bucks kind of really want him to stay there. The thing that's happened this summer is that Giannis has made it public that he is exploring other ideas of what he should do other than the Bucks. But that doesn't mean he's going to leave the Bucks. That's the thing. Everybody overreacts when these little things happen. And they start thinking, oh, what would he look like on our team? Spurs. What do we got to do? We got to do to trade to get Giannis on the Spurs with Victor. Raptors fans that love the idea of Giannis coming here, or they start kindling that up again after a couple of years of not really talking about it too much. I'm going to say this right now. The highest % chance of what's going to happen is he's just going to stay in Milwaukee. And that this is a much to do about nothing. And in some ways, I want to treat it that way today. I'm going to treat it this way to say, you know what? This is a bunch of bullshit. Giannis is not going to go anywhere. He's going to stay in Milwaukee because in some ways, it's hard for him to move. Second of all, the Bucks definitely don't want him to leave. Third of all, he may only half-ass kind of want to leave, and he may not really want to totally leave, guys. All he said was he's looking into other opportunities or possibilities for his career. He didn't say he wants to leave for sure. And that I think that people overreact when they hear just a little bit of like, okay, he's looking into the possibility, or he's told the Bucks they could look into trading him if they want to. But once again, even if you tell your organization, you know what, if y'all want to look into trading him, how hard are they going to try? Seriously. Are they going to be like Nico Harrison and call up the Lakers immediately? Say, yeah, you can have Luka for just give me a random dudes. Yeah, you can have Luka. Yeah. Are they going to do that? No. The Bucks are, if they're shopping around to see what they can get for Giannis, they're going to be very tough to deal with. And the price is going to be very steep. And it may very well be in some ways that the Bucks make it hard to move Giannis just by being hard asses about the deal. Yeah, you want this for Giannis? You want this and this? Well, I'm sorry. We want even more if we're going to make the deal. No deal then, Bucks. Okay, I guess Giannis stays a Buck. There's a lot that has to work out for Giannis to move. And once again, I'll say this. It's not like Giannis demanded a trade like Lillard. It's not like he's in a place like Jimmy Butler was with Miami last year. He could easily just stay there. And this is all a bunch of bullshit that's just being talked about this summer to keep people entertained. So, yeah, I think that if the Bucks are going to trade him, they will try and honor his preference, which is the question you're asking. But in some ways, that hurts their own what they want to do is because, like, they don't want him to stay in the East. If he's going to be traded to a new team, they'd much rather see him over on the other side of the NBA and only have to see him twice a year as a Western team. Who knows? And once again, that the relationship between the Bucks and him is pretty good. They love him, and he got a championship for them as a franchise player. They'll probably follow his wishes if they are even going to earnestly try to move him. That's what I would say right there. Yeah, part of the reason I think it's that it's so watered down that there's an easier pathway back to the finals. Yeah. Part of the reason I think is that it's so watered down that there's an easier pathway back to the finals. Who are you talking for? Are you talking for us? Are you talking for Milwaukee? I'm not totally sure. James is saying if Giannis goes west, better for the Raptors, less competition in the Eastern Conference. Laugh out loud. Well, I will say this: when has Giannis and the Bucks ever been a problem for the Raptors in the playoffs? Sometimes it's kind of fun to beat him. So in some ways, I would say, nah, leave him in the East because we've proven every time we played him, we beat him. That's true. That's true. We've beaten him at least twice in the playoffs as the Raptors. Yeah, every time we played the Bucks, they've lost to us. So I'm not afraid of the Bucks and Giannis and him being in the East. I'm not afraid of that at all. Nah. Smooth saying the thing is that with the draft and the Raptors, the player they get has to hit the ground running. This team is out of a rebuild. They want to compete now. There's a yes and no. I mean, I would say this: they need to be somebody who has the ability to help to an extent, but not in the level that you think. They may need to be all right. If they're a big, yeah, they need to come in and play defense and rebound for us right away. But they don't. Nobody who's going to get drafted by us needs to score. That's not absolutely essential that we draft somebody who's going to come in and help us with scoring. That's not the area where we need help. Where we need help is with rebounding and defense. And that's why I like Malawatch still as the number one, the guy that we should target. But in some ways, if we got a different position, it would really be kind of similar to what we had with our rookies last year. They just need to play solid, play correct, and play within the means of what they're doing at that point. But they don't need to be pushed too quickly, and they can kind of come along as they need to. Like, say if we get Fears, there's no pressure on Fears right away to do anything because in some ways he's got Shed, you got these other guys in front of him quickly. And those guys will be more important to stay healthy and do stuff. And he can actually kind of come up in development underneath. So I don't know if this is totally true. I would say that if it's a big man, yes, we need them to contribute with what they can do as a big man right away, defensively and rebounding. But if it's any kind of other player, they can be eased in, and they don't need to be necessarily dependent on any way at all in the beginning because we got all these other guys. And the rookies grew so well last year. Now, if they do jump up and they're coming in and they're gangbusters and they're kicking so much ass, we won't get in their way either. We can let them go ahead and do that too. So Smooth saying, no way MJ will do commentary. He's the NBA. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way he's going to sit there and do that. Michael has way better things to do with his time. I'm not trying to talk like he's an asshole or a conceited guy, but you know what he is. I'm just going to say that. But I'm just saying this man is not going to be sitting there doing this. If he sits down and he talks on the microphone, that'll be amazing. But I'm not expecting it. I really am not. It'd be interesting because we know Reggie Miller is very, very much a broadcaster. He's been pretty much since he retired. He's been sitting in the booth, sitting next to Kevin Harlan in so many games as a color guy and calling games. And he's really good. It would be interesting if they had Michael sit as a third with a regular play-by-play and Reggie Miller, and they talked about the game with Reggie kind of helping Michael in the crew as far as him saying, you know, what would you think, Michael? Because Reggie Miller is a very savvy broadcaster that he could probably work with Michael, and Michael probably has enough respect for Reggie from battling him from so many years that to a degree they are friends, at least respectful former opponents, that, you know, maybe he would allow Reggie to kind of help him because he'd need that to an extent. I'm not going to lie. He would probably need a bit of just some kind of hand holding on broadcast just to kind of understand, you know, because in some ways he has to know when to speak. And if Reggie can say stuff like, well, Michael, what do you think about this? Michael Jordan, and he's like, oh, Reggie, thanks for asking me this, and then he's like comes in and starts talking then. But it's kind of like when your cues are and when to speak, and so you're not talking over like the play-by-play and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't see it. I don't see Michael being like a color commentator like some people may think, like Stephen A. Smith thinks. I don't see this, man. I know he could do it if he wanted to, but I don't think he's ever aspired to do this. If he wanted to, he could have all this time, and he never has. So that's what I'm just going by. I mean, how long has Michael Jordan been retired, guys? And when has he ever tried to do broadcasting? So that's what I would say to this. Yeah, why would this be? Yeah, Smooth saying maybe like a 5 to 10 minute halftime commentary on a finals game. That's it. Yeah. Like maybe he'll be in the studio once and he'll sit down with Vince and Jamal Crawford and they'll talk a little bit of hoops like at halftime for a second. Maybe they'll try and get an inside the NBA crew like TNT with Michael and Vince. That would be cool. Like if they just had them kind of hanging out and kind of like just joking around like Charles and Shaq would. If it was like Vince and Michael and Reggie, that could be very fun and interesting to kind of see a little bit of back and forth between them, especially if it's loose and kind of just like playful, like the TNT guys. So I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. Special contributor tells me it's not going to be a lot. It's going to be special times when you see it and just contributing a little bit here. That's what that means. Let's see. Keeping it going in the chat here. G saying there's so many great prospects that had to be waived due to limited roster spaces and teams. It's a shame. I hope the tempo pick up a few like Letitia and Deja Kelly. Yeah, talking about the WNBA, and this is why expansion has been so necessary for this league. There's way more talented ladies that want to play professional basketball in the WNBA than there are spots on the league. And it's crazy. It's cutthroat. In some ways, if you're not healthy, like the Shields, it sucks. You're out. You can't play. I'm sorry, Diamond. It's like we need, there's very few spots, and we're going to need people that are going to be ready to play. And I'm sorry. That's just how it is. So, yeah, the expansion, 2 more teams with us and another team from Portland coming in next year. That'll mean more spots. And then, of course, they're going to continue to expand because the league will be an odd number still. And they're going to need at least one more team on top of that. Maybe, another team in Canada. Probably not, though. Probably not. It's probably, they're thinking about putting a WNBA team in Philly. The Philadelphia might get a WNBA team next. So we'll have to see. But yeah, not enough roster spots is a huge problem in the WNBA. And the women want their equal chance and an expanded league with a lot of teams, so that there's enough for all the very talented women that could play in the WNBA. That's right. Kareem Thomas is here. Let's see what he's saying. Now, I want to see Jordan talk about his greatness and how shitty the NBA is today. I'm all for that smoke. I'm not saying that that's not what he would do. I'm just saying I don't think he would do it. How much would he charge, too? Think about that, Kareem. Oh, you guys want me to talk? It's $1,000 a word, something like that. Wouldn't that be crazy? I was like, because he can kind of, demand a premium because it is him. I mean, come on now, guys. He's a businessman too. We know this man has made a lot of money. And in some ways, his contract to be a special contributor, I wonder how much it is and for what and what exactly he's going to be doing. I mean, I know you want to hear this, but in some ways, that's not going to help the game because that's going in line with ESPN's sorry ass coverage of the league, putting it down all the time. So it's like, listen, I get it. The league has been gone downhill in the last 15 years, but it's coming back up. And we can't have these gaslighting kind of like media personalities around the game, like Stephen A. Smith, Kendrick Perkins, and all the idiots on ESPN that kind of talk down the product, say that, oh, these guys are lazy, this league is soft, they're not playing the right way anymore. They really hurt the product by talking about the product being so bad on those channels. So they don't want to have Michael come out there and eviscerate the current game and say stuff like that because people will listen to him, first of all, very much so. And that's not helpful to the product. And that's maybe the biggest lesson the NBA has learned in the last 10 years is don't crap on your own product because you actually devalue it. And all your talking heads like Shaq and Charles and Kendrick Perkins and all these different people, they actually devalued the product because they were making fun of it and saying goofy shit all the time too. Shaqtin' a Fool is funny and fun to watch, but it has also hurt the league. Let's just put it that way. It has hurt the league. Yeah, Stargate's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, Stargate. Good to see you, sir. Randolph's here also. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. The tallest tree was once a seed. Embrace it and trust the process. It will bring you to your purpose. There you go. I like that one. Yeah, I've been planting seeds recently and my garden is coming out already. I'm really proud. I've got a vegetable garden this year and I've got cucumbers and tomatoes and carrots and lettuce and all kinds of stuff coming up. And it's already showing great growth and promise in my raised bed. So I'm really, really happy about that. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot about seeds and also growing them and germinating them and what they need to grow nice and strong. So, Randolph, thank you for the words of wisdom. Blessings to you and the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families right there. That's right. The tallest tree, the 100-feet tree, or once this big, little. That's right. G saying, I feel like Giannis will stay for a few reasons. He's loyal. He has 4 kids now, and they have roots in Milwaukee. Yeah, all of that. I don't think ideally he wants to go. I think that's part of the reason why he's putting so much pressure on the franchise is that he doesn't want to go. He wants them to improve and get better. And if they keep their spinning their wheels, the problem was 2 years ago, they overreacted when they fired Coach Bud. They really, really did overreact in that moment. And I think ever since then, the Bucks have been kind of lost and not really making good decisions. I think their front office needs to be fired, honestly. I think that Milwaukee's problem was never Coach Bud, and it wasn't the team. It was the front office not making very good moves for them. So if Milwaukee needs a change, it's not Giannis leaving. It's they need to fire their front office and bring in some new people that know what they're doing to build around him. I mean, the sign that they screwed up is Kyle Kuzma. The fact that they traded Chris Middleton to get Kyle Kuzma shows that they are idiots. Absolutely horrible front office. And they need to be fired. I would say that's the biggest fix for Milwaukee right there. It's not trading Giannis. It's you fire your front office and start with better people trying to make the decisions for the roster. Because I honestly, the fact that they fired Adrian Griffin halfway through the season like that was messed up too. So they've been fumbling. I really do truly believe that the Milwaukee Bucks front office has been the biggest problem since they won their championship. And that it's not certain issues. They could put a team around Giannis that could do much better. It's just that their front office are idiots, is what I would say. That's what I say right there. Seymour's saying, what a game again. Nuggets and Thunder series is a must watch. Yeah, let me look at the box score for a second and kind of talk about it's interesting because the depth of the Thunder did not show up last night, which is crazy because they have so many good players that they need other people to show up and do good things. So 32 for SGA on 11 of 16 shooting. He was phenomenal. Chet Holmgren had 19 and 11 rebounds, and he was maybe the second banana on this team. And then Lugetz was the third leading scorer. That's a bad sign. That's a bad sign right there. When Dort is the third leading scorer for your team, he's not supposed to be that. He is not even supposed to be in the top 5 leading scorers for your team. So if Lugetz is your third leading scorer, now tied with 2 other guys at 10, that's showing a lack of production from the rest of the team. And we could look at guys like Jalen Williams, 3 for 16. That is horrible, man. He did get 10 assists and 7 rebounds, but only 6 points. That's no good, man. The youngster, you are a big problem with why the Thunder lost last night. Jalen Williams, you're an all-star, bro. In some ways, I didn't totally agree with that all-star for Jalen Williams. I'm not going to lie. Let's see. Off the bench, Caruso was okay with 10. And Cason Wallace showed up with 10. But the rest of them, usually they get something from Isaiah Joe or Aaron Wiggins. And none of that stuff was happening. Isaiah Hartenstein, 4 for 4 with 8 points. But, maybe you should have gone there some more, my guy. Meanwhile, on the other side, Denver Nuggets, Jokic, the usual, 29 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists. And then Murray showed up sick and got the highest plus minus. So it's a very courageous performance by the kid from Kitchener with 25 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, a plus 28. That's fantastic. And Christian Brune was the third Caballero in that shootout with Christian Brune with 23 points and 11 rebounds. Yeah, Aaron Gordon, only 5 points. Michael Porter Jr., 10 points. And Strother off the bench with 15. So the 3 Nuggets getting 20 points each is really the engine there. So Christian, Jamal, and Nikola. Yeah, it is what it is. The game 7. In some ways, the Nuggets are hard to kill. That's what I've learned here. Thunder, you got to do way better, man. And in some ways, you know what? I will say this: if you get past the Nuggets on Sunday, uh, Oklahoma City Thunder, it's a cakewalk for y'all to the championship. This is the tough series right now for you guys. If you get to the next round, you will beat Minnesota. I'm going to say this right now, and you will beat either of the Eastern teams. So Oklahoma City, this game on Sunday is your championship in some ways to me, because this is the series that was hard for you. Denver, 7 games, take them out, and you've punched your ticket. And it's really just you got to do what you normally do, and you will get that championship, SGA. I'm going to say that right now. So I guess they're not going to announce the MVP award until this series is over, and they're going to see who wins it on Sunday. Seriously, could they do this? Do they say game 7, not just for the series, but the MVP award? Whoever wins is going to walk away with the MVP? That's crazy. That would be so weird if Adam Silver said that. Like if he came out before the game with the MVP trophy and he said, listen, we're going to do something this year that's unprecedented. We're going to give the MVP of the year to whichever team wins today, whether it's Jokic or SGA. And if the Nuggets win, well, Nikola, you're a 4-time NBA MVP. If the Oklahoma City Thunder win, SGA, you're first-time NBA MVP. So that would be cool, man. In some ways, that would make the game really interesting and exciting all of a sudden. If they did something like that, I don't see them doing it. But if they did, wow, wouldn't that be crazy? That would be crazy, man. Reggie saying, report out of Houston stating that they're willing to include Alperen Sengun as part of the trade package for Giannis. Their prize big man, really. I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, Milwaukee, they could be butts, and they could be like, well, we really want Scotty and Grady if you guys want them in Toronto. And then Toronto's be like, yeah, we're not doing that. It's like, in some ways, they could get in their own way of moving their own guy if they really want to by making the requests too high. And, I think that, I would do that if I was Houston. I would do that. I mean, Sengun is a really good player. He's young, and he's got a lot of potential for a long time. But in some ways, this is an interesting idea. They do have some other center talent on that team other than Sengun. I mean, in some ways, if they really wanted to, they could play Jabari Smith at center. So, and they do still have Steven Adams. That's the thing. So they have some options there, and they may have figured out that, like, it's not a big deal if we lose Alperen. Speaking of Alperen Sengun, I feel like that Maxime Renault guy's got some of the same stuff that he has. Like there's some similar traits and movements that I saw in the highlights of Maxime Renault as Sengun. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Some of the stuff I was seeing. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor's saying WNBA game on Saturday, Liberty versus Vegas Aces at 1 p.m. and then the Fever versus the Sky. This is games tomorrow. They're going to have some games today for the opening night, and then they'll have games on during the afternoon and tomorrow when those games that Trevor just mentioned. G saying, would you trade Sengun? I'm having doubts about this rumor. Sengun is a mini joker with his playmaking and only 22 years old. Well, it's not up to me to figure this out. In some ways, I might do it, but then again, I'm not as closely tied to the Rockets and caring about what they're doing. And in some ways, I think it would be interesting to see Fred playing with Giannis. So I don't know. In some ways, I don't care enough about this to put too much mental thought into thinking about it. If the Rockets are saying they're willing to do it, well, that's one thing. That's what I'm saying. If they're willing to do it, that says something. I don't know. Y'all calling him a mini joker? Ah, man. Yeah, I guess that's an apropos descriptor for Alperen. I guess. Seymour saying Lillard's out all of next season. So whoever is there, Giannis, Alperen, or Flag, it will be their show. Yeah, well, Lillard's going to be out for the whole entire season next year. Man, that's tough, man. What? Jeez. Anyway, I don't want to go in on Dame Lillard right now. It's not nice, so I won't do it. Yeah, I guess so. Giannis will be a one-man show next year. Well, he's used to that. He's been that guy in Milwaukee before. And in some ways, Bucks fans, getting Dame Lillard was too good to be true, wasn't it? It's too good to be true. Smooth saying, if I'm Houston, I would be willing to trade Jalen Green and Fred for Giannis. I would do that. That's not a fair trade, though, because those guys aren't going to add up to the value there. Those guys are not going to add up to the value there as far as things. They're going to need a big cent if you're going to send Giannis. So it's going to have to be like either Jabari Smith or Alperen, or maybe they'll throw in Cam Whitmore, or there's you can't just trade small Fred and Jalen Green and get Giannis. That's not going to trade that'll work. That was not a trade that will work. I'll bet you. Yeah, Milwaukee wouldn't want that. They're going to want a big player with wingspan of some sort coming back the other way to kind of make up for the loss of the void of Giannis. So at least Jabari Smith. You got to go at least there. Smooth saying, as great as Fred's impact on Houston has been, this is Giannis, a top 5 guy. Him with Alperen Sengun at the front line, unstoppable. Yeah, I mean, I know you're classically a Rockets fan, so you're kind of thinking about it from caring about that team kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. Milwaukee would never do that trade, Reggie. You know that. They wouldn't do that. Seymour saying, my choice for the Raptors' 9th pick keeps going up and down like a seesaw. Good thing we're in good hands. Yeah, we don't know more than Masai. We don't know better than Bobby. And those two guys are the guys who are in charge, and they're the guys who have their own little list. They have their own intel and ideas about all the players, the vast, wide gulf of players that they're looking at, 60 to 90 players, which is crazy. So they're going to unearth. And if there is like an unknown player that absolutely should be picked earlier, and everybody's going to be like, who the hell did they just pick? Pascal Siakam. Who is that? And then all of a sudden, like in a couple of years from now, everybody's like, oh, crap, Masai's a genius. Yeah, that kind of stuff could happen this year, honestly, because it's so wide open. And, maybe somebody like Rocco Zerkowski is actually really way better than everybody thinks. And he should be maybe the 9th pick. I don't know. That sounds like a reach to me. But I'm just saying, I know who would know and would be more willing to put a sure thing or sure bet on something. That's Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri. That's right. That's right. We're in good hands. We're in good hands, All-State. That's right. Stargate saying at Smooth, who's the point guard then? Yeah, who's the point guard for Houston at that point? Yeah, that's not happening. First of all, Fred's contract, I guess, kind of lines up with Giannis. But once again, do the Rockets want Fred? I don't think they do. I think that Fred, in some ways, is a special player as far as like he may be needing to be with, a coach like MA or Nick Nurse. And I don't know if Doc Rivers needs to be working with Fred. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. I can see Fred getting frustrated with that. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We're talking Freddie, and in some ways, I care the most about Freddie in this whole situation. I don't care about Giannis. I don't care about Sengun. I don't care about Houston or Milwaukee. I care about Fred. And Fred's making $40 million. I just don't see this. I don't think Fred would be in part of this deal. I don't think they would. In some ways, I think that the Rockets organization understands just how important Fred has been to their turnaround in the last 2 years. And in some ways, they would be like, no, Fred doesn't move. They probably protect him and say, no, we're keeping Fred because Fred has been part of the reason why we're actually a legitimate Western Conference team now as the 2nd seed. And by the way, once again, I'm going to say this to Jillian. The number 2 seed in the Western Conference playoffs is Houston, not Minnesota. And whatever you heard from a broadcaster on the air the other day, they may have said the number 2 team in defense. You need to elaborate, whatever it is, Jill. But you cannot argue with me on facts. It's not a debate. The number 2 seed of the playoffs in the Western Conference was the Houston Rockets. The number 6 seed was the Minnesota Timberwolves. So arguing with you on Discord about why Houston's number 2 seed and Minnesota's number 6, and you not getting this, well, I'm just sick of arguing with you about it because it's just the damn truth. And when I said there's no debate on this, that it's just facts. It's just facts, Jill. The number 1 seed was Oklahoma City. The number 2 seed was Houston. The number 3 seed was the Lakers. The number 6 seed was Minnesota. Number 6 seed beat the number 3 seed, which was the Lakers. So I don't know if you get seeding or tournaments, Jillian, but that's how that works. And honestly, you fighting with me for 2 days in the Discord server about the concept of seeds and you just not understanding what it is, well, that speaks to you, not me. I'm sorry. That's just it right there. I didn't get that, man. Why is she so adamantly debating? No, this is the facts. Houston Rockets were the number 2 seed in the West. Not Minnesota. Are you arguing to me that Minnesota Timberwolves are the number 2 seed in the Western Conference playoffs makes you look so stupid, is what I'm saying right here. Y'all saw that argument in the Discord? I was just like, what is this shit? Like, seriously, there's no debate about this. This is the way they finished. If you don't understand this concept, Jill, you need to go back to NBA to 101 and learn basketball and maybe just basic sports in some ways about how seeding and playoffs work. Seriously. Anyway, I just, that popped in my head for a second. I don't even know if I should have brought that up here. But anyway, Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy Friday. Good morning to you, MJ. Always good to see you on a Friday morning. TGIF. Smooth Sand, Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet in the 10th pick in 27 first round pick. They would never do this. Once again, Smooth, you got to fill the void for Giannis, and neither of those two guys fills that void in that position. So they need a player that plays the same position as Giannis coming from the Rockets. And that's why Sengun is probably the best matchup, because in some ways he's going to be that guy. You could lust for a Sengun, a Giannis lineup, which honestly, this is never going to happen. You know that. And, but that's not going to happen. They want Sengun coming the other way. Just like if we were doing a trade with them, they're going to want Scotty coming the other way. So it's just how it is. Seymour saying hi to Eye Candy. I like that. Zarkowski is 7-foot Bogut. The thing I'm liking is I saw a post in the Facebook chat about how Common Malawach's stats, all of his physical stats are similar to Rudy Gobert's. Yeah. Like Rudy Gobert's size and body is very similar to Common Malawach. And I like that. I like that. Some of his specs from the combine are showing very Rudy Gobert. And hey, there you go, Common. Let's hope he can drop, and let's see. Or will the Raptors move up slightly somehow and get a slightly higher pick by doing a little deal somehow, some way? I don't know. We'll have to see. Stargate saying Nick Wright. Nick Wright is one of those bad people on TV. Yeah, that has all kinds of dumb comments and on ESPN. Yeah, he's bad. Yeah, you're right. That's a good one. Nick Wright, you're right about right. That's right. Let's see. G saying, I don't think the Bucks would take that. It doesn't help them, especially on the defensive end of the paint. Yeah, there's no way they do that deal. Smooth just, in some ways, he's making like a draft, like, all right, let's trade these guys we don't want on the Rockets for these guys, this guy that we will. In some ways, you know, those trades don't work, man. You know, those trades don't work. And they're not getting any hype back, and they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Milwaukee wouldn't do that. Yeah. Stargate saying, yes, grow your own food. I respect that. Yeah. Yeah, I got some good kale coming up. I got some kale. I got some Jerusalem artichoke. I got all kinds of different stuff growing out in the yard this year. Rhubarb. I got some rhubarb. Yeah, and I planted carrots in like three or four different places in my yard. So I'm trying different places to grow carrots and seeing where they grow the best. Yeah, it's all over now because I started planting and I'm learning it, and now I feel confident in what I'm doing to an extent. So I'm going to continue to garden and grow my own food. That's right, Stargate. Let's go. Celtics versus Knicks tonight. Please put them out. All right, let's go look at this real quick. I've got the referees. I'm going to tell you this right now. There's one referee in particular that's given a sign that this is going to go 7 games. Yeah, that the Celtics will probably win again tonight, guys, even without Jason Tatum. Because once again, I'll say it, they are a better team without Jason Tatum. They're more focused, and they have more idea who should be doing what, instead of, it being ambiguous. Tonight, the crew chief for the game is James Capers Jr. once again. This man has been working every other night, just like the NBA, and he is just at every game. Well, James very much favors the Celtics, guys. And Tyler Ford is the second ref. He also favors Boston with his record over the Knicks. Yeah, the Knicks have a worse record under Tyler Ford than Boston. And then the last ref is the one you need to talk about right now. The last ref is the ref that's going to be the key reason why the Knicks will lose tonight, because he is the master manipulator. And I have personally seen him in person at a Raptors game, in-season tournament game against the Celtics and the Raptors 2 years ago when we went with Tom Duke. Ed Malloy totally disrupted that game and helped the Celtics win by a very close margin in the in-season tournament, the first in-season tournament game we ever played. That guy's reffing tonight, Ed Malloy, and he has reffed Boston's victories by 1 or 2 points against the Raptors multiple times in the last 5 years. He is a master manipulator for helping the Celtics win games, and he's going to do that again tonight. I'm going to say it right now. I'd love for New York to put them out, but I'm going to say right now, I'll bet you there's going to be a game 7 because of Ed Malloy and what he does tonight, guys. I'm going to say it right now. And Knicks fan, if you're watching me, you better watch Ed Malloy real close tonight because I know the action with him. And it's all right there. All three of the refs favor the Celtics tonight. And, even though this game's in New York, even though they have the home advantage, the Knicks, don't be surprised if those refs are real screwy tonight to help the Celtics stretch this out and extend it to a game 7. Yeah, seriously. I can see this right now, just so y'all know. That's the ref report for tonight. Ed Malloy. That's the name right there. Ed Malloy right there. Smooth saying, Stargate, Houston will sign another veteran point guard, man. Man, you act like Fred's so expendable. Come on, man. There's only 1-on-1 with Fred VanVleet. There's only 1-on-1. And honestly, I think you're not giving him enough credit for bonding with the young Rockets, for being the conduit of Ime Udoka on the court as the point guard for the coach, for the fun band of brothers that he is with the veterans on that team, Jeff Green, Steven Adams, and Dylan Brooks. In some ways, there's Kelly's heroes feel to the Houston Rockets franchise, and Fred's Lee Marvin. I'm sorry, man. In some ways, you can't get rid of Lee Marvin. You can't get rid of the general. You can't get rid of the guy who's guiding them so much in this kind of way. Why do you treat Fred like he's disposable, Reggie? This man is not disposable. He's integral to the success of the Rockets in the last couple of years. You take Fred off this team, I'm sorry, you will see them go right back to the bottom of the Western Conference percentage-wise. I'm telling you, you can go get a special other point guard. Go get another veteran point guard since it's so easy. And just plug in him instead. It won't happen the right way. I'm telling you right now. Freddie has a treasure map just like Pascal. And he's the one bringing the Rockets up. And they will find that out if they try to cast Fred aside. I'm telling you right now, this is the truth. They could trade Fred out and put Chris Paul back in Houston next year, and they will suck, and they will be a 300 team. Yep. So let's not act like you could just get any old veteran point guard and just plug them in Fred's place, because that's not true. Fred has personal bonds with those Rockets and understands how they tick already because he's been there for 2 years. And in some ways, he knows how to play the piano with that team better than anybody else does right now. You bring in a new vet, it doesn't mean that they'll be able to lead those young guys like Fred does. So let's not poo-poo who Fred VanVleet is as a team captain and leading a team and what he does and the success he's done with the Rockets. I'm telling you right now, you take him out of there, y'all go right back to the bottom of the Western Conference. I'm telling you right now, I'm serious. And if they want to try this, go ahead and try this. But I would not advise this. No, I wouldn't. James is saying Spurs got the best trade package for Giannis. I think this is actually true. This is very, very true. Because in some ways, they got a second pick in this draft they don't need at all. They don't need this second pick in the least. They've got a fantastic core already with some crazy good players right now. It's like the rich got richer. And this crazy bullshit. This really is kind of what happened is the rich got richer in this draft lottery with Dallas and San Antonio and even Philadelphia, who has a very good roster in a lot of ways, but they suck and they're not good chemistry and they're hurt too much. But, the rich got richer with talent. Dallas got richer with talent. San Antonio is getting richer with talent and Philadelphia is getting richer with talent. And Spurs pick. Easily trade the second pick to Milwaukee and not even blink. They got 2 rookies of the year in a row. They got De'Aaron Fox. They got Jeremy Sohan. And if they got Giannis too, well, that's stacked. That is stacked. So I completely agree with James. San Antonio has the best shot to land Giannis out of anybody in the whole entire league. Unless big market teams are willing to go crazy and slash a whole bunch of good players for them. If Giannis really wants to play for the Knicks, well, what would that package look like? If Giannis really want to play for the Lakers, well, what would that package look like? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. They should select Ace Bailey and grow organically, you think, instead of trading for Giannis. Fox, Stephon Castle, Ace Bailey, Harrison Barnes, and Wemby is a solid starting 5. Yeah, you even put in Harrison Barnes. I wasn't even thinking about him. I'm still going to say it. I think the Rutgers guys are busts. And if Ace Bailey's not a smart person to get, is what I'll say right there. That's what I'm going to say right now. I'm going to predict this right now, that the Rutgers guys this draft are busts. They're absolutely not who they're supposed to be. and they're not going to be as good as everybody thinks they are. Kareem saying, can two trade an injured player? Can you trade an injured player? If so, maybe Milwaukee Bucks front office should trade Dame to Miami. This way, his baby mama would reconcile their relationship. Wait, is she saying that like she'll move to Miami with him? I thought she wanted to stay in Portland. I thought that they weren't totally together either. Like they weren't getting along and they were kind of separated and they got divorced. I don't know. I don't know if you have some hotline on like the personal lives of the NBA and you know all this scoop on this. I don't know any about this. I don't care. I think that the whole thing I remember from what the story is that she's very established in Portland and did not want to go anywhere. Milwaukee meant that his family stayed in Portland. And I don't know if they would move to Miami either, because I feel like Dame Lillard's former wife or girlfriend or mother of his children is very much a Portland person, and they're not moving. So I don't think him going to Miami is going to bring her with him. I don't think that was the whole thing in the beginning. They were already going to be split no matter what, because she's just staying in Portland. So if he had gone to Miami, it's not like she would have gone with him. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. So I don't know if you're being serious with your comment because of the nature of sometimes how you are, but I don't know anything about his personal life or the stipulations she had for him or anything like that. But I think that from the story I read about their relationship, she's as absolutely established in Portland, and the children are too. And they don't want to upend the children, partly because the children have very close friends in Portland and lives there. So I don't think that was ever the issue. It wasn't whether it was Miami or Milwaukee. It was just that they're going to split either way because she's staying in Portland. He's going somewhere else. So yeah, I don't know. I'm answering an unserious question with a serious answer. I apologize. Smooth saying the trade helps the Bucks too. It keeps them competitive. Fred gets closer to his home base. Jalen Green gets a fresh start. Yeah, but once again, in trades, this, Reggie. You want to trade comparable kind of positions because you're going to have a deficiency on your roster, and you're trading a forward / center, honestly, for two guards. That doesn't add up in the arithmetic of roster build and things like that. So it's not a trade that makes sense for the Bucks. You can try and rationalize why it makes sense, but that doesn't mean that it'll make sense. It may make sense to you for rationalizing that way, but honestly, if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks and I look at this, I'm like, yeah, we don't care if Fred's closer to Rockford. We don't care about that. They don't care about that. And Jalen, fresh start. Yeah, I think you're just trying to cast off people off the Rockets that you don't particularly want on the Rockets. And I'm surprised Fred's one of them. I can understand Jalen Green. Kareem saying, obviously, whoever wins the Nuggets Thunder series will determine who will win the MVP. Yeah, I think this is true. I think this is why they're waiting so long. I think you're exactly right on that. Seymour saying, Houston's team option is $44 million. Fred VanVleet. He's worth it. That's what I'll say right there. You want to win? You got to pay that man to be your El Capitan. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Steady Freddie, that guy, Fred VanVleet is I'm telling you, he is the huge reason why they've come up in the standings. Him and the coach and the vets that they brought in there, Dylan Brooks and Jeff Green and Steven Adams. Those young guys are great and they're coming up, but they wouldn't know what to do or do anything without those other guys around them. Sengun, without the direction of MA and possibly even Fred, he wouldn't be as good as he is. I'm telling you right now. So if they were still the Rockets from like 4 or 5 years ago or just a couple of years ago, they'd be aimlessly just a young group of kids that are just goofing around. I'm telling you, these guys are essential to the Rockets' success. Fred VanVleet, M.A. Udoka. They're essential. That's right. Kareem saying it was cool to see the Hamilton versus Kitchener matchup last night. Kitchener prevailed. Yeah, in some ways, I wonder how much there's a friendly talk between SGA and Jamal and Team Canada kind of stuff. I just want Jamal Murray to get healthy for a period of his career. I'm sick of him being always half hurt. Like, he's been half hurt so much of his career. In some ways, I wish that for you, kid from Kitchener. I want you to have a nice long stretch of health, preferably around Team Canada activities. That would be fantastic. Because in some ways, seeing you sick, seeing you have ankle problems, seeing this problem, it's like, man, what could have been? That dude was just healthier more often. He's had amazing, and the fact that the man's never been an all-star is crazy too, honestly. That's absolute shade on Canada in some ways. How has Jamal Murray never been an all-star in the NBA? Seriously. Seriously. And ask yourself that question. Jamal Murray is an all-star. We know he is. He puts up all-star type numbers in huge games. Huge games, more big all-star numbers in huge games than LaMelo Ball. I mean, has that man played any playoff games? Meanwhile, we got Jamal Murray who's putting up 50 pieces in the bubble like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and they don't even put him on the all-star team in the last 4 years since then. And they've won a championship. So it's like, man, what does Jamal Murray have to do to get on the all-star team is what I'm saying. What does he have to do? Play sick like Jordan and win a game like last night? Maybe. Maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll help. So I get saying it's smooth. Like who? Who is out there that would like fill Fred's shoes? That's what I'm saying. Listen, we don't get into this narrative like some old Raptors fans or Raptors Nation that just hated Fred for no reason, man. This guy has intangibles that are hard to just like get across to people. Sure, he's a short guy. Sure, he's this and that, a chucker maybe. Sure, you want to call him that. But there's intangibles to Fred that have to do with wily, savvy smarts and like understanding the flow of the game. Like he is a true point guard. He controls the tempo. He can control the game in ways that people don't really understand on an underlying level. It's not as simple as just making a lot of baskets. There are things that Fred does to help control the pace and the tempo of the game to help the Rockets to win. And even like good old veteran point guards like this don't have as much power as Fred does. This is why people have said Fred is one of the best players in the league in some ways on the down low, because he can control the game at his position in ways that you would not understand. Some people would not understand because it's not so overt. It's not so overt. Mike Conley is a longtime point guard in this league. For Minnesota, he's doing really well right now. But I would say this. Mike Conley cannot control the game and have an impact on the game the same level that Fred VanVleet can. Chris Paul's been in this league forever, but he's older now. In some ways, Fred has more of control over games and being a floor general than Chris Paul does at his level in his career right now. And these guys are savvy, been in the league longer than Fred guys. These guys do not control the game more than he does. And people from the inside will tell you this. That's why a lot of people respect Fred on a deeper level. The people that play the game respect them more than the fans do, because they understand this intangibles and this leadership that Fred does with controlling the tempo and the pace of the game and being that floor general like that. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, there's an extra thing to him that people don't realize. They don't realize. That's right. Smooth saying at Seymour, really, didn't they extend the date of the opt-out until June to give them more time? Canada? What are you talking about? Houston team opt-out of 44 million. Oh, you're talking about the opt-out of 44 million. I don't know. I don't know all the nitty-gritty as far as like contracts and Fred's contract and Houston stuff like that. I'm not Rockets freak, so I can't say for sure. The deadlines. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. WNBA exciting is here. That's right. Let's go, Cool Cat, and your fantasy team. Yeah, I have one team that I didn't cover, and that was Edmonds. Edmonds' team is We the Race Mode Daily. Should I read his team off just to be a completionist and say, here is Edmonds' team that I didn't read? He's the only one that I didn't do. Let me see. He did auto draft, and he doesn't really pay attention. So he's got Caitlin Clark. He's got Kiki Irafen, Tira McCowan, Kalia Copper, Dominique Malonga, Jackie Young, Kayla McBride, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, Alyssa Pilley, Emily Engstler, and Mariah Jefferson. And it looks like he doesn't have any free agents. So it looks like his team is all good to go with people that are going to be available and able to play. So that's good. That's good for him. Man, I went and dropped Diamond DeShields because she got cut. And I went and picked up Kate Martin for the Valkyries as a replacement at guard. Partly because, well, she is out. She'll be back tonight, actually. But yeah, she's going to be one of the backup guards for them. But you got to get what you can get. In some ways in this league, there's not a whole lot available off the waiver wire. So you just got to get the players that will play somewhere, somehow, someplace. That's right. Let's see. James is saying, I wouldn't offer Scotty either. That's going to cause bad vibes with Scotty in the front office. I want to see how good we are with Ingram before any major trades. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, let's stay to the task, Raptors fans, and let's not get all woo with the stupid BS with Giannis and like other players that are possibilities this summer. Everybody is panicking because you think we're not good enough for next year. You're idiots. We're going to be good enough for next year the way we are right now. We just need to have health. If we have health, we're going to be fine. We're going to be very, very good, actually. And, Brandon Ingram is something we have not seen yet. So everybody needs to understand we need to discover Brandon Ingram as a Raptor. And before we make any assessments or want to make any trades or deals, in some ways, I would say right now, we're in a status Raptors Nation where we lock in and we're just not making it. We're not doing movement right now because we don't know what we've got. You can't make a move without understanding your nucleus that you presently have. If you do, and you make another move, you could mess up because you could have been in the state that you need to be in right now, but you went further without even discovering whether you were in that state. So stop pushing so much trade talk, Raptors Nation. We have to discover our current roster healthy because we have not yet at all. And once again, James's first comment here is, I wouldn't offer Scotty either. I wouldn't offer Scotty to anybody, anywhere, any place. He's a non-starter, and he has been since he's been a Raptor. That's the one thing. You can call us, Brooklyn, and say, we'll trade you Kevin Durant and this for Scotty Barnes and this and this. And Masai said, well, I'm sorry, Scotty's off the table. We're not even offering him in any kind of trade deals. We're not even talking about it. It's a non-starter, and it's going to be the same thing here. The action and the feel of Scott around this team is very, very protected because that man is invested in, and he, like, you guys got to understand, the investment in Scott isn't just in him individually. It's in him as the team captain and the leader of the team with all the other guys following him and feeling all that. You take him out, that's more than just losing your player. That's losing your captain. That's losing your voice. That's losing your energy. That's losing your guy who's pushing and driving the other guys to get better and better at the top of the team. And that's special. Not every leader of a team is like Scott and makes his other teammates better by pushing them and encouraging them. Other guys are just cold. They just do their thing. They show up, they score their points, and they go home. They're not like Scott. So we have to really, really embrace and protect and love who Scott is and his personality, and not be like so casual to say, oh, I would trade Scotty for Giannis in a heartbeat. No, you wouldn't. And Masai wouldn't. That's for damn sure, because he understands how much is invested in Scotty as far as being our franchise player and how much everything revolves around him already on the team right now. You could take Scotty out and put Giannis in that spot. It's not like changing a light bulb, y'all. It doesn't just work the same way. You screw it out, screw it in. No, it's a totally different light. It's a different kind of light. Scotty's this kind of light, and he's this kind of light. And they may not work the same way with the group of players that we have. So again, I say to Raptors fans, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And right now, the Raptors ain't anywhere near broke. No, we're good in a healthy ecosystem with a lot of good vibes and a good promising future ahead of us right now. So why would you want to go and screw it up by making a huge deal for a star like this when you already got the right star in the place where the spot? That's what I say to Raptors Nation and all this trade talk that's going on this week because of Giannis and his stuff. That's what I say right there. Right there. James is exactly right. We have to see how good we are with Ingram first. If this is not working and things aren't going right, well, I say we might need to shop Brandon Ingram if he doesn't fit, because I've seen a lot of the other Raptors all fit together. If Brandon Ingram comes in and it's not working, well, I'm going to be more partial to say, well, Brandon Ingram's probably the part that doesn't need to be here. That's what I would say there. Smooth saying Stargate, D'Angelo Russell, or Spencer Dinwiddie. Who? What does that answer to? Man, Smooth, your comments are not giving me the full picture. I don't even know what you're saying here. Like, what are you talking about? D'Angelo Russell. Are you doing crosstalk and that's why I don't understand what you're doing? You're answering questions with somebody else. All right, let me see. Seymour saying, Smooth, they have not made a decision yet. See, I don't understand what you guys are saying to each other. It's totally in a different place. You're talking about the contract extension with Fred? All right, I'm totally lost with you guys right now. I'm sorry. James is saying Houston should offer Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, and Reed Shepard and draft capital. That may be more plausible. Like, all right, you put the Thompson twin in there. That's more of a makeup for Giannis. That's more plausible. You could switch You could put Amon Thompson and Fred VanVleet together, and you might be able to get Giannis, but you can't do Jalen and Fred. It's got to be Amon. Amon and Fred might get you that deal with the money. And that's really like, once again, I think that's a bad move for that team because you're losing Fred. But yeah, Stargate saying Lex, not too sure about Rocco. Yes, he's tall, but looks slow and not very strong for his size. Plus, that competition in Australia League kind of enhances his talent perception. But hey, Bobby Masai know best. I think to me, it's just that he's the tallest guy, right? He's the tallest one in this draft. He's 7'4". Common's 7'2". So those guys are the two kind of taller ones. And in some ways, it's the 7'4" that's probably the most striking thing about him. But you may be exactly right. I didn't look at him too closely, but you're exactly right. The NBL has a certain kind of showcase to the certain kind of players will look really good there, but it doesn't translate to this continent. It does not. It really doesn't. Smooth saying Houston is watching San Antonio. It pisses them off that the Spurs have Wemby and a chance to get Giannis. Yeah, I mean, I know that's a huge rivalry, those two teams. Honestly, all three of the Texas teams kind of have beefs with each other on the down low in different ways. And they kind of compete with each other. You know, San Antonio fans and Rockets fans are not friendly with each other. No, they aren't. And I guess it's kind of like the neighborhood. You're keeping up with the Joneses. You see what's going on across the street with San Antonio, and Houston's like, man, we got to do this. We got to do that. I don't know. That's also a surefire way to shoot yourself in the foot and self-sabotage your team when you are always worried about what other teams are doing and keeping up with like moves and stuff like that. Nah, you can't do that. Once again, you focus on yourself, focus on what's best with yourself. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Go ahead and grow on your own. Everybody has different parameters and different abilities to do things. And in some cases right now, the Spurs are getting some things handed to them that are very nice. And the Rockets are just going to have to try and compete and beat them anyway without possibly getting some of these helpful things like what the Spurs have gotten, like Wemby and this second pick. So I can't get on this. I can't get on this as far as like, you know, if they're playing competing, like keeping up with the Joneses, oh, you got a new car, well, we got to get a new car kind of stuff that neighbors do. Don't do this, Houston. It's not going to benefit you, seriously. In some ways, just worry about your plan and what you're doing and forget about what San Antonio is doing and just come kick their ass. That's what you got to do. For us in Toronto, this is how we have to do it. We're the only Canadian team. We have different things that apply to us than other teams. And in some ways, everybody's saying everybody should do the same thing in the NBA to build their team. Well, that's not the case for the Raptors. We can't. So we're going to do it our way. And in some ways, the Rockets, we'd be better off doing it their way and not copycatting San Antonio or trying to keep up with them. Just go on your own schedule and do your own thing and believe in yourself on your own and forget about the other stuff. That's what I would say right there. Stargate saying, I think Dame's wife has a very successful business in Portland and is looking to expand, doesn't want to uproot and move to another city when things are going so well. That totally makes sense right there. And I mean, a huge part of it is the kids. The kids have social lives and best friends and things that a school that they go to that they're used to. And it can be really detrimental to kids that have to move a lot. You know, military kids that have to move a lot because their family gets stationed in different places. You know, that's something you always hear about. You know, you never get to stay with your friends for too long. They leave and you're like, all right, bye, Johnny. I guess we're moving to Fort Bragg. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was really good being your friend. You're my best friend forever. Okay, bye. You know, that's sad, man. You don't want to make your kids go through stuff like that. So yeah, that's part of it there is too. It's like his children are probably at an age where it's very important for them to keep their ties with their friends at the where they have in Portland. That's what it is right there. So he's saying within the context of getting Giannis, I want him. It's not that I don't want Fred. It's that to get Giannis, Fred has to be included in the package. That's what I mean. I don't know if that's totally true. I don't know if that's totally true. I'm sure they could figure out a way around it. I'm just saying, Fred's not logically the right person to trade to get Giannis. You may think that because of the money size and Fred's contract, but it doesn't make total sense. It doesn't make sense for Milwaukee. I'll say that. It doesn't make sense for Milwaukee. I don't know, man. It's weird that you're so hell bent on trading Fred out of Houston. Why? Why, man? Don't you love Freddie? Let him be in Houston, man. Let him be in Houston. That's what I say right there. Let's see. Stargate saying playoff Murray is a thing. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. I just wish he'd do it in the Olympics for Canada. James is saying Fred, best undrafted player, 100% bet on yourself. That's right. He's a legend. He should be more celebrated. He should be more talked up because honestly, he's special. And in some ways, the NBA hasn't done it totally justice. In some ways, Raptors fans haven't done him total justice. When he hangs it up, people should give Fred more credit in all kinds of different ways. They really should. They really, really should. When he hangs it up and he's done it at the end of his career, 23 is up in the rafters at Scotiabank Arena. I'm sorry. Anybody who thinks that Fred VanVleet's number should not be retired by the Raptors, you're an idiot. I'm going to say this right now. You are an absolute idiot. 23 is going to go up in the Raptors for Fred, and rightfully so, because the man has the highest scoring total in a game for the Raptors, has the most assists in a game for the Raptors, is an undrafted player that became an all-star, and he's a champion all levels. So I don't get it. I don't get it. People need to understand this, and hopefully he gets his just flowers at some point, because some people have honestly been more disrespectful towards him than actually celebrating him for what he should be. Seriously. And it drives me nuts. I appreciate Mike, Logical Raptors fanatic, for creating Fred propaganda on X and making that account. I don't know if you knew that, Stargate, that Fred propaganda, that account on X for the last couple of years, it was standing up for Fred all these years when people were sullying him, Pensair, and all the Houston fans even since. That is Mike and his account that he ran, Fred propaganda. Yeah, the guy you were arguing with yesterday. He's the man who was standing up for Fred on Twitter. So, we all need to look out for each other and kind of look out for the positive Raptors fans. We're not against each other. We're on the same side. But I get it. He can be argumentative. He can be, that's for sure. Kareem saying people are so quick to pull the root out from a plant as it's starting to bud. That's such good vibes in our locker room. Each player who wore the Raptors uni last year all say this team is like a family. That's what I'm saying. That's why you don't really want to, unless they really aren't winning, they're losing team, and it's like, yeah, this is not working. You really don't want to rock the boat. You really don't want to kind of mess with that, because that is not totally common. Both Darko and Scotty have both said this is the best chemistry on a team they've ever seen in their lives. Now, Scotty may be biased because he's the center of it and he's the franchise leader and he wants it to be like that. And he may be a big part of the reason why it's like that, because he's working so hard as a franchise leader to keep everybody connected and happy and feeling like a part of it and like on the same page. And Darko's the same kind of person too. And Darko, I mean, he has way more experience with different teams and all kinds of levels, starting from the very beginning with youth in Serbia, all the way through the Spanish League, the G League, being an assistant coach on many teams in the NBA. To have the experience in him to say this is the most amazing group of players with camaraderie and connectedness that I've ever seen in the history of me coaching, that means something. And in some ways, you don't want to mess with that. We've seen what bad vibes and weirdness around a team looks like the last couple of years of Nick Nurse coaching our team. And this is the opposite. The 2 years that Darko has coached us, even though we've only had 55 wins between 2 seasons, have been exemplary vibes and chemistry. And as Kareem has said, you don't want to mess with it when you're just starting to grow from it. You want to transplant that plant, you could kill it if you move it too quickly and you're not happy or nice with it when you're moving it. You can mess it up and transplant it in the wrong place. You could bring the wrong plant into the spot where you had the right plant before, and you put that wrong plant in there and it messes everything up. That's what I'm saying. So once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the Raptors ain't broke right now. There ain't nothing we need to fix about them right now. We got to see how good they are. That's right. That's right. Trevor's saying Raptors fans do not be the dog with the bone in his mouth and see his shadow in the water and drop what he had for what he saw in the water. This is such an old. I forgot about this, Trevor. I'm giving you a big time dunk for this, man. I'd forgotten about this story since I was a little kid. I saw this. There's a dog that's standing by a river, and he sees another dog in the water. It has a bone in its mouth. And he says, I want to have the bone that dog has in his mouth in my mouth. So he drops the bone in his mouth to get the one in the river. And he drops the bone in the river and he loses his own bone. This is such a perfect analogy right here. Trevor, you just got to dunk. You're at 87. You just got to dunk for this. This is exactly right. This is exactly the right analogy for this. And Raptors fans, I think too many of y'all are looking at the dog in the water and thinking it's a real thing. And that's where we're getting wrong here right now. Yeah, classic card and Instagram stories. All right, let's go see what we got here on Instagram. Leo Routens is words of wisdom is saying in yourself, but it will cost you everything if you don't. There you go. Coffee is worth the cost. There you go. Believe in yourself. That's Leo's words of wisdom today. That's awesome. Toronto Tempo, all about the Saturday schedule for next weekend. Hoops Without Limits, Breaking Barriers, and Art in Motion. And they've got different panels. For the one at 12, Basketball and Belonging. Hoops Without Limits, How Basketball Bridges Culture and Creates New Opportunities Within Community, hosted by Lily Singh and Mariah Amber. Very interesting there. And then they've got a couple other panels with different people. Very, very cool. Very, very cool stuff coming up with the Toronto Tempo Talks, hosted by Sephora, coming up next weekend on May 2-4 weekend. We see that Yuta Watanabe is hanging out with former Toronto Raptors Summer League player DJ Hogg. DJ Hogue. Isn't that what they call him? DJ Hogue. But yeah, I guess DJ is over in Japan playing over there, and he's wearing a cool shirt that Yuta made him wear saying, "I'm Yeko." Yeko. I don't even know what that means, man. He's Yeko. Yeko is Cian's little brother or something. She's very skilled at drawing. So she's some sort of anime character. Kelly Olynyk brought the dog to the wine cellar, and that cute little dog that Kelly and his wife have is just laying there looking, and there's a bunch of wine in the background. Kelly's got a big year coming up, having a baby with his wife coming up real soon on that. Andrew Jones still putting on blast the Oba Ball. Jacoby Walter went to the Blue Jays game yesterday. He had a very nice Toronto Blue Jays jersey on. He got to throw the first pitch, guys, at the game yesterday. He wasn't the only Blue Jay at the game. But yeah, the Blue Jays have been getting Raptors players as guests the last couple days. I hope they've been winning these games. Has the Blue Jays been winning these games that the Raptors have been going to? Like Grady and Emmanuel were there the other day, and Jacoby was there yesterday. We see Jacoby with the short haircut, and he's with Ace, the mascot. There he is. He threw a strike, the first pitch. It's pretty good. I like that jersey he's wearing. I like that Skyline Toronto Blue Jays jersey that Jacoby's wearing. The Ace gets him all ready. He throws the windup. He lofts it. It's not the best pitch, but he got it over the plate. So he didn't look too bad or anything like that. Good job, Jacoby Walter. Maybe not a baseball pitcher, but yeah. Oshai Abaji's showing his game day fit coming in. Too styled. There you go, Oshai. Yeah, I hope you're having a fantastic summer with your fiance, Avery, and everything's good for you, sir. Jamal Shedd's dunk against Golden State in Golden State, coming down the lane and throwing it down with the right hand, is getting a lot of shine by Rap, and Jamal has reposted it on his Instagram stories. And there he is at Rogers Center. So he was at the game yesterday, just like Jacoby. So a couple of the Raptor rookies were there. Y'all seriously need to watch Siakam's latest picture that has come out, No Ego, about him beating the Cavaliers, him and the Pacers beating the Cavaliers. It's just such a beautiful piece, man. It's really inspiring, man. So watch Pascal Siakam's PS43 Productions. Man, it's so beautiful, man. The music and everything about it. So good. So good. Yes, so good. Jamal Shedd's dunk on blast. Lindsey Dunn interviewing Blake Shelton. And also, I think Lindsey got some surgery yesterday. Said she had surgery. I wonder if she had plastic surgery on her face. I hope that she's not changed her face, because Lindsey, you're a beautiful woman. You don't need no plastic surgery. If you're coming back and you look totally different, I'm going to be like, what the hell did you do? Seriously, we'll have to see. Either way, women are beautiful no matter who they are and how they are. You guys don't need to do this stuff. And men that are doing it, you're crazy. This plastic surgery stuff is out of control. These crazy ass puffy lips and all this weird stuff with people's faces, just stop. Jennifer Grey messed her face up. Kristen Wiig messed her face up. I'm sorry. Y'all, maybe I'm wrong for saying this stuff, but y'all's imperfections were beautiful to me. And the fact that y'all are changing your faces because you think that there's some sort of ideal sense of beauty, just stop. Be yourself. You're beautiful. Stop it. You're often ruining something that was very beautiful about yourself already, Kristen and Jennifer Grey. Jennifer Grey, why'd you do that to you, Dirty Dancing? Seriously, in some ways, you're just not the same woman that you were when you were younger. And you're way more successful when you're younger as an actress. Seriously. And Kristen Wiig, in some ways, your face was goofier. It was more funny. Then you did something to your nose or did something weird to your face. I don't understand this. Why y'all do this? Seriously. Anyway, I'll get off my high horse here in my soapbox. Let's see. Slim Duck's got an interview with Cardi B on his Instagram. Chris Boucher saying me because I'm immature in every situation, like Cardi B. I don't know. I don't get that. Understand the grind. Norman Powell. Boom goes the dynamite. There's your Instagram stories. Yeah, Jacoby threw the first pitch for the Blue Jays game yesterday and looked like he did pretty good. Stargate saying the Raptors' projected starting five last season only played 8 games together, 8 out of 82 games, and 0 with Ingram. We can't gauge anything in any way with that extremely minuscule sample size. Exactly. We have not seen our starting lineup play any games because I consider Brandon a starter and he didn't play a single damn game. So how are we going to say we have a bad team when we haven't even seen maybe the best player on our team play yet? Seriously, Brandon could end up being our best player on our team next year, y'all. And it'll change everything when everybody sees that. Seriously. Stargate saying, let's see what they can do healthy. Exactly. That's exactly right there. Fiercey saying, I have a friend whose dad was a diplomat and traveled a lot. He finds it nice that I'm able to meet up with my high school friends and him as siblings sadly weren't able to maintain solid roots growing up. See, that's sad. So you have a friend that's dad was a diplomat and they moved a lot. And so in some ways, your friend will come with you and hang out with you and your high school friends because they miss the ability to be able to have done that because they just didn't get roots with people that they could do that with. Man, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Steve Kerr is a good example of this. He was the child of a diplomat. Did y'all know that Steve Kerr was born in Lebanon? I'm serious. Steve Kerr was born in Beirut. And because his father was a diplomat and he probably moved all over the place when he was a kid. And he has the same exact issues with having friends from over his life. Yeah, moving every 3 to 4 years. That's what I'm saying. Talk to Dennis Schroeder. He's been doing it every 3 to 4 months. I'm just saying. Well, Wayne's saying, morning, Raptor Freaks. Nuggets won when a bench player got an opportunity and took advantage by making shots. Totally unpredictable. While Williams from OKC was a dud. Regular season, playoffs, different. Yeah, Wayne, good points. Yeah, I pointed out earlier, Jalen Williams did not show up for the Thunder in a major way, not like an all-star should. And maybe that all-star came a little too soon for that young man. But I guess they had to give shine to Oklahoma City for their exemplary regular season record. So they're saying, well, they got to have 2 all-stars. Who's it going to be? Jalen Williams? I wasn't totally sure on that one. I was like, this guy maybe shouldn't be an all-star in some ways. I'm just saying. But yeah, a young player, he's got to, step up. And well, he's a young guy. He's going to get there. I'm sure he will. But good points, Wayne. I see what you're saying. And this playoffs been very unpredictable. Very, very unpredictable this year. G saying that's a pretty diverse, good team. I like his rookie. She'll be a big name in a few years. The center for Race Mode's team. Yeah, the center, Malonga or whatever. Yeah, man. I hate that Edmond got such a good team and he didn't even show up. He's not even trying. You got Caitlin Clark. And he's got a couple of really good players on there. I hope you keep up with your team, Edmond. If you're going to listen to me and you come back and listen to the Raptor Freak stream later, please play WNBA this year and actually set up your lineups. Please, Edmond. Please. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew and Lex. Good morning to you, Trucker Cass. Good to see you, TGIF, my good man. There you go, TGIF. Let's go. Fiercely saying the problem is once you do the surgery, you need to maintain it. Never-ending process. Love yourself, fam, and embrace what makes you unique. Exactly. That's part of it. It can be addictive too. And seriously, where does it end? I know with the yard, right? If I start cutting trees out and a lot of plants, it gets infectious. I start doing more of it. And I'm like, oh, where does it end? It's like, dude, don't cut so much out. Leave the natural beauty of your yard. Just because you got into it, oh, I'm getting used to it. Oh, it gets addictive. Oh, I got to get plastic surgery like Joan Rivers and Michael Jackson now, just over and over again. And she's right. You have to maintain it. And if some of it flops or blops or drops, all of a sudden you got to go back in and get it redone again. And how many times you have to do that? And then how many times can you massage and mess with your face and your cartilage and your bones and all this stuff? Then it goes to a weird place and all of a sudden you're Michael Jackson. I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. You're naturally supposed to be a natural way. Why fight it? Why go against it? If there are little parts of you that really, really bug you, I get it. But that's a slippery slope. And you may do one little thing to yourself, and then all of a sudden you're doing stuff that you never thought you would do on top of it. And you're like, why did I do this? One of the craziest things I watched recently was Dark Side of Reality TV, The Swan. Do y'all remember the reality show, The Swan? It was this crazy reality show where they took supposedly ugly women and they brought them in and they wanted to make them more beautiful. And they did this crazy thing where they made them work out like crazy on their bodies to get fit while simultaneously doing a massive amount of plastic surgery on them all over their body, on their face, on their butts, all over the place. So they're like literally in this like intensive short-term period where they're carving up their face, and then they're going immediately to the gym with the bandages all over them, working their bodies to stress when they should be resting to take care of their body. Is the craziest show in the world. It was sadistic and wrong, and these women were in pain. And in some ways, like some of the plastic surgeries that they had done on them were botched. Them for years later, with what they found out on the reality show Dark Side of the Reality TV. So, man, it's a slippery slope. Sure, tattoos can be addictive. In some ways, they're a little bit safer than plastic surgery. Really, they are, considering things. But yeah, getting addicted to having plastic surgery, you don't want to go there. It's a slippery slope. And Fiercey's got the best sentiment here. Be okay with yourself. And if you're not, go talk to someone. Maybe they can help you get there. Go sit on a couch and say, I don't like my nose and stuff like, but you're beautiful. And you're this and this, and you should learn to love yourself for who you are and all this kind of stuff. This is important. This is important. But yeah, I never get this. I think that plastic surgery in some ways is one of the worst industries in the world because honestly, it's preying on vanity. It's preying on things. If people are really rich and they absolutely want to change their bodies in so many different weird ways, go ahead, freedom, right? But in some ways, trying to set a standard of beauty for everybody else that's just not totally attainable, and then having ability to try and go do it, and then there's just really bad stuff happens. Man, don't even go there. That's another dunk for Fiercey. 48 on the dunk charts right there. Kareem saying, I need Mala Watch on this team. Pirtle needs to groom both Shamshay and Common. Yeah, I want to see. In some ways, I was interested because, like, there's some traits about Renault, Maxime Renault, that are opposite Jakob because he's a really good three-point shooter. But there are some things that Renault does that are similar to Jakob also. Either way, we need a pupil for Jakob. Maybe Shamshay is one of them, but we need another person sitting at the next desk next to Ulrich Shamshay that is learning the center techniques of Jakob Poeltl. I want a new student in the classroom. That's what I want right there. Yeah, Shaq was a military kid as well. Yeah, Shaq historically from New Jersey, but he did move around. And of course, it wasn't it was his stepfather. It wasn't his real dad that raised him. It was his stepfather, and his stepfather was a drill sergeant, apparently. Yeah, his stepfather was a military sergeant. Very, very tough on him. Very, 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 very tough on him. All right, let's see what's on my tabs. Let's keep going. Y'all, I got a straight good on Canadian good today. It's very interesting. And some of y'all may be like grossed out by it, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's awesome because I've been getting it for a while. And it's a company out of BC called Hardy Boys. I know that sounds crazy. Hardy Boys, like the old books, but it's boys spelled with a B-U-O-Y-S, like the thing in the water, like a boy in water. Well, Hardy Boys makes fish stuff. And what I've got right here is salmon jerky. Does that sound crazy to you? It's actually really dang good. I'm not lying, man. Salmon jerky is salmon that's made into jerky like beef, and it's flavored, and it's awesome. And this is a small company out of BC called Hardy Boys, and it was started by this married couple out in BC, and they got their sons involved in it too. It's Bruce and Carol Derome, and man, they employ 60 employees full time throughout the year in their facility out in BC for their smoked salmon and other products. So this is all about like fish products and fishing in the BC coast. So if you want to support a Canadian company, Hardy Boys salmon jerky is a place you can go and get a nice treat. And this is not as gross as you think it is. This is really good, honestly. I've enjoyed eating this salmon jerky for over a year now. It's not something that I've been just buying just now. It's a very good, nice snack. Yeah, I got this at Vince's grocery store here in Uxbridge in Ontario here. And yeah, they carry it in a few grocery stores. So you go look in like where they have like the McSweeney's beef jerky or the Made in Canada beef jerky or the Jack Links. They'll have this in that section sometimes there. But yeah, salmon jerky from a BC company called Hardy Boys. I can't. It's a good snack, man, and it's honestly it can be kind of healthy because it's fish, and you get some of those fatty omegas and stuff like that in there. So yeah, it's pretty good, man. Salmon jerky. First time hearing about this. Yeah, they've got different flavors of the jerky. This is a garlic and pepper one, but they have just normal, nothing, and then they have like teriyaki and stuff like that too. And I'm telling you, it's like eating salmon, and it's like jerky style, but it's tasty. And it's just like getting protein, just like you were eating beef jerky. So it's good stuff. I've enjoyed it, man. I've enjoyed it. First time you heard about it, yeah, yeah. Fiercely saying my family doctor is dropping clients to switch to plastic surgery, more lucrative. My friend and her mom were dropped 2 years ago, but not me. I believe I rarely consult, less paperwork. That's why. Yeah, Scream saying that actually sounds tasty. It is. It is. Some people are grossed out by it. I'll open it up. I'll open it up for you guys. You can see what it looks like. Yeah, we'll do a little Lexus eating food on the channel today. Let's see. Let's open it up. I want to show you what it looks like. Now, it has there is a bit of a fish smell. So it's like if you're like that, but you can look at it. See, like it's dried out. It's just salmon meat that's kind of dried out, like, and put like seasoning on it. Let me show the other side. It's got all the seasoning on it. You see that pepper and lemon pepper on there? Look at that one hunk hanging. Yeah, I'm like a bear in a river right now. I just pulled it out of the water. Oh, don't fall apart. Protein. Yeah, that's the stuff. That's good. All right, why did I eat so much? I'm not gonna chew. Yeah, it's good. Some people may not like it. If you don't like fish, if you don't like fishy smell or fish, you're not going to like it. But if you do, you're going to like it. You're going to like it. Yeah, it is tasty. What's the ingredients? Where is it? It's just It's just salmon meat. That's like jerky. They make it into jerky like beef. It's just done through the same process. So it's basically salmon and spices. That's it. That's it. Very natural product, right? It's kind of like probably like what indigenous people did on this continent way before anybody came here. Is you take some of the salmon meat and you put it out in the sun on the banks of the river and let it cook a little bit, and maybe dry it out, and then you get like a salmon jerky that way naturally. So yeah. It's fiercely saying, Lex, can you post the jerky in the Discord? I want to buy it. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Let me give you the link that I'm on for their website, and I'll post it in the Discord right now. I'll put in other fiercely so you can see that. Boom goes the dynamite there. That's the Hardy Boys website that I just put in there. All right, let's do the classic card. Moving right along, getting things done. We've got 20 minutes. My hands are a little slippery from the fish. Who's that? Okay, yeah, we'll do this. Now, I'll give you points for either one of his names. If you want to say his other name, you can say his other name. I actually might give you more points for it. If you want his regular name, you can go ahead and say his regular name. There's two names for this player. So you can put either name in. Here it is. Easy if you know what I just said. And that kind of gives it away. So classic card of the day. Who is that? You can put his either of his names in. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. No, that's not. Slow-mo's right, but that's not the name I'm looking for. That's the nickname. Derek Anderson. That's not right. That's not right. Kyle Anderson is right. That is the name. Now, can anybody give me the other name? It's a real name. It's a name that he uses as a player. It's not a nickname. It's a real name. Kyle Anderson's right. Fierce is going to get it. But what is his other name that he uses? It depends on who he's playing for. How about that? Depends on no, it's not slow-mo. That's a nickname. I'm talking about what is his other name that he puts on a jersey. He will have another name on a jersey when he plays in a certain environment. Let's just put it that way. He plays. Well, no, you guys aren't getting what I'm saying. He's Kyle Anderson when he plays for the NBA, and he's on Miami now, right? Yeah. What is he called in China? Exactly. What is he called in China? I want his Chinese name. That's what we want. That's right. What is his Chinese name? I'll give you points for that. Lee Kyer. There you go. Boom goes the dynamite. Slug News Lee Kyer. Yeah, that's the other name. All right, so I'm going to give 100 points to both y'all. Y'all are both going to get 100 points for getting the two different names. Yeah, Lee Kyer is his Chinese name. As far as like when he plays for the Chinese national team, he is Lee Kyer. So that's what it is right there. Boom goes the dynamite. Fiercey / Slugged Easy. 100 points for each for today for getting the two names of Kyle Anderson. Yeah, Slow-Mo is his nickname, but yeah, I wanted the Chinese name. Who's behind him there? Is that our villain Dylan? No, that's not our villain Dylan. I don't even remember who that is. That's like a rocket that's long gone at this point. He's not around anymore. Yeah, Lee Kyer, Kyle Anderson. That's right. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let me check more on my tabs. Let's see. Raptors Reddit. What are y'all saying today? Yeah, see, they've got the crazy picture of Michael Jordan in the flu game getting held by Scottie Pippen, and they took Jamal Murray's face and put it over him. And for some reason, they put a horse's face over Scottie Pippen's. I don't understand that totally. One post on Reddit saying the SGA homecoming delusion gets to live on for another day because they didn't beat the Nuggets last night. This is crazy, man. It's like they got the Jordy meme here, and they're saying, hoping Denver wins because of the implications of a historic season going to waste and wanting to see a rematch of the Nuggets and Timberwolves for good hoops, hoping OKC blows it so I can continue to convince myself that SGA will be a Raptor. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not rooting for the demise of the Thunder just for those reasons. That's a wrong way to do it. That is the wrong way to do it. This guy here on Reddit saying Giannis will not be traded this summer. The greater likelihood is, well, never. You know, that's actually true, guys. Giannis is a weird supermax contract. It's very hard to move. And in some ways, you know, he really has to want to leave. And I don't think he totally really wants to leave, like I said earlier. So let's see. They're talking about Hansen Yang on Raptors Reddit, the 7'2" Chinese big man at the draft combine, showing his skill level and physicality, was back to the basket, made some nifty passes, and stepped out and made a 3 too. Okay. Here it is, the comparison of Common Malawach to Rudy Gobert. Their athletic profiles are similar. They've got them right next to each other on Raptors Reddit. Very interesting. This is a weird question. And in some ways, all right, Raptor fans that care about this overly are idiots, and they just need to stop. In some ways, you're not watching basketball for the right reasons. I'm going to say this right now. Somebody on Raptors Reddit is asking, what are we expecting for the upcoming rebrand? Like the people that just care about the courts, the jersey colors, the jerseys, and all this kind of stuff, the style of the team, just stop. We need to care about X's and O's. We need to care about wins. We need to care about players playing well and winning. Everybody who cares about the jerseys, whether the colors we're using, the courts and stuff, and all you talk about is that you're part of Raptors Nation, sure. But you're in some ways the part that is kind of like stupid. As far as like, you only care about this stuff? Do you care about like us winning? No, I just care about how the jerseys look and the rebrand coming. They're going to probably do a rebrand next season. Yeah. But everybody who gets overly excited about this stuff, y'all are nerds. And in some ways, I love the Raptors. Don't get me wrong. And I've seen them rebrand many times in the last 30 years. But I don't get like this with y'all. Seriously, this is stupid. In some ways, I know part of it is because some of y'all really hate some of the Raptor stuff that people wear now. And you're like, oh, I just want to change it. It's so ugly. I'm so sick of the chevrons. The chevrons. What did the chevrons do to you, man? The chevron era and the Raptors era has been the most successful era of the Raptors. So don't be giving this crap about the chevron jerseys. So everybody's overly excited about rebrand this, rebrand that. Get over yourself. Get excited about the rookies that played for us last year. Get excited about Brandon Ingram. Get excited about the court product. And stop worrying so much about the court, the way it looks, and the jerseys. Seriously. Fans that more are eccentric over that stuff than the actual basketball, I don't know what to say to y'all. Y'all aren't real basketball fans. You're more like style mavens or some bullshit like that. And in some ways, I don't give a shit about the rebrand. The rebrand's probably going to happen. I will hate to see purple become more important to the Raptors colors. I really would. I know some of y'all want it, but I don't.
I was perfectly happy with the amount of purple we had this season. It was apropos the 30th anniversary, but our primary colors are black and red, Raptors Nation. And purple does not need to be one of the primary colors for the Raptors next year. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Apparently, they're saying on Raptors Reddit that Igor Demon has had a huge week this week. He's bigger than they thought, and he's been playing really, really well at the combine. So maybe I need to go and look at Igor again from BYU. They're saying he's a guard, but man, he's 6'9.5". That's intriguing to me right there. That is very, very intriguing. Yeah. So yeah, that's what Raptors Reddit's talking about right now. Let's see if there's anything interesting on Blue Skies right now. Andrew Nebhardt's brother, Ryan Nebhardt, is really playing really well at the combine this week. Canadian Ryan Nebhardt, he's been doing very, very well this week. So that's something right there. That's something right there. Let's see what else we got. Happy birthday to John Sally, original Raptor, John Sally of the Detroit Bad Boys Pistons, Spider Sally. It's his birthday today, and he is 61 today. So happy 61st birthday to Spider Sally, a Detroit Pistons champion, a Chicago Bulls champion, and a Lakers champion, and also an original Raptor. So happy birthday to John Sally. Also, a happy birthday to Terrence Davis II. Terrence Davis, former Raptor draft pick, who was on the Kings for a little bit this season. It is his birthday today. He's 28 today. So happy 28th birthday, Terrence Davis. Yeah, those are your birthdays for today on the Raptors. Raptors there, right there. Raptors birthdays. Boom goes the dynamite. That's right. Yeah, Select Easy saying that's Austin Rivers behind him. Bonus dunk. Is that Austin Rivers? I don't know if that's Austin Rivers. Is it? Yeah, I guess it could be. It could be him. It could be Austin Rivers. I'm not totally sure on that. Stargate saying I wrote my answer prematurely before I even saw the picture based on the clues. Yeah, you wrote the Mahmoud Abdul Rauf because you know that Chris Jackson, he had two names. Yeah. Adriana says the man who lives in Raptors clothes. I love purple. Adriana gets upset when I diss the purple. I know you love purple, and purple's a great color. It's a great color. It's great for Epilepsy Toronto and all this stuff. But purple to me is expansion Raptors in 20-win seasons. And it represents a totally different thing to me than the young fans. They can get all nostalgic about it, but they weren't there. They didn't feel the pain. They didn't sit through 22 game season coached by Darryl Walker. No. So they don't know what they're talking about when they're talking about purple. Purple is post-traumatic stress disorder for this guy because I was there for all the seasons we wore purple and we lost a lot. So that's why I don't want purple to come back. Our most successful eras in Raptors history have been red and black, and we just need to keep those colors as our primary colors. Purple is a great nostalgic color to do the throwbacks, and like we did this season. But our primary colors should continue to be red and black. I'm sick of this, Raptors fans. The purple is historic nostalgia for the Raptors franchise. It does not need to be our bread and butter every night, night in, night out color. I'm sorry. This is the damn truth. And it's not a diss to this color purple in the way that you love it, Adrian. It's a diss to the color purple in the way that I don't like it because it's expansion purple. And that era of the Raptors was the Barney era, and they called us the Barneys, and they made fun of us, and they talked all this trash about us in purple. And we just don't need to go there. Just trust me. We just don't need to go there. And in some ways, I don't like how much the Raptors have lost in the last couple of years, missing the playoffs and, not winning as much as they have in the past. And I honestly think the resurgence of purple around our team in some ways has something to do with it. I know that sounds crazy, but that's part of the reason why I don't want the purple around is because purple I associate with losing with the Raptors team. And I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. The young fans don't understand this because they're not old enough. They weren't there. They weren't even born when I'm talking about. I'm talking about 30 years ago. And all you people that are under 25, you have no idea what I'm talking about. No idea what I'm talking about. And you can't feel it because you can't go back there and go there and see it. And you got to understand, just trust me. I was as passionate about this team as I am right now as I was 30 years ago. And I felt it all more than the average Raptors fan because nobody was bought in like I was at that point. They were all kind of, this is a fun little thing. It's new. I'm not that committed to it. I was committed to it day one in my heart like this. So I felt it more than the average Raptor fan at the beginning because a lot of them were just kind of, this is novel. This is new. This is exciting and fun, but I'm not that like dedicated to it. And this takes winning and a championship and stuff like that. Then people get diehard like me more. But I was diehard like this in 95. I was diehard like this in 96. I was diehard like this in 97. And that's why I tell people, you do not understand what the purple era was actually like because you weren't there unless you were. If you were there, you understand what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. Sending hugs. Hugs to you, Adriana. I miss you, and I hope I can see you soon. James is saying, our team was so bad 20 years ago compared to now, Bargnani and Jose. Yeah, that was another bad era. And purple was still lingering around at that time. It really wasn't until Masai and Bobby showed up and we kind of phased out the purple with DeMar and Kyle because Chris was still wearing the purple. Chris Bosh and Jose and TJ Ford. They were wearing it, but they were starting to transition more into the red right around that time. So that was good. That was a good thing. Yeah. Seymour saying, let them know, Lex. Let them know. I mean, they just don't know. They just don't know. Purple's a nice color. I don't hate purple. But when it comes to the Raptors, that is what I associate with it. And they need to know this. Sure, we can do the purple front back jerseys. Adriana just got a beautiful RJ Barrett version of it. Beautiful, beautiful jersey. Purple front back. But it's reminiscent. It's our past. We need to go forward in the future. Now, if they did a rebrand this summer where they made purple and red our primary colors, I might be able to stomach it, but I really don't want them to. I really don't. I really, really don't. I would like the Raptors to pivot to red and white this summer. I would. I think that in some ways, with the things that are going politically, having the Raptors wear red and white, even if it's very much like the national team, Team Canada, I don't care. Red and white are our right colors because that's the colors of our flag. And that's also, we're Canada's team now. There's no other Canadian team. So if we have the colors red and white, there shouldn't be no problem with that. I kind of don't like how they switched black in for the white after the championship. I think that the white chevron on a red jersey was the most beautiful jersey we've ever worn. And in some ways, I want red and white back on the Raptors' backs. That's what I want. I want them to wear that. Yeah. Yeah. Stargate saying, I love purple too, but that's because I'm a Prince fan. Yeah, there's a lot of good things about purple. Don't get it twisted. I'm not like such a hater of the color. It's just that for the Raptors, in my specific way of thinking, is you're going back when you bring purple back. And in some ways, we need to go forward instead of going back. That's what I say right there. Yeah. Yeah. Adriana saying, I still love purple, but I hear you, Lex. You should love purple. Purple's your favorite color. Your absolute favorite color. And you shouldn't be ashamed of that. And I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings when I say it. I don't want purple on Raptors jerseys. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings by saying that. It's just my personal preference. And I know that Raptors fans are going to go crazy leading up this season this summer. When are we getting the purple dinosaurs back? Purple dinosaurs, purple dinosaurs. Okay, Barney fans. I love you. You love me. We're going to love our purple jersey. I'm not about that. I'm sorry. I'm not about that. You do know that they used to play that damn song when they came out on the arena. Seriously. They used to troll us in opposing arenas. They play the Barney song every time we came out of the arena in our purple jerseys. So I'm just saying, Raptors fans, understand the history of the purple and why I'm like this, man. Leave them in the past. Let's go forward. Let's design something amazing and cool. Maybe you make the old jersey with red in it, and it's a purple jersey historically, but you make a red version of it. You know, there's a lot of different ways we could do this. I'm very much about red and white, man. Red and white. Let's go. I think the colors for Toronto Tempo are really good too. And they're going to be interesting. And that color is kind of purple. That chartreuse. They're saying it's like a red or a blue, but it's a purple. It really is kind of a purple that the Tempo got right there. Yeah. Yeah. What about the Huskies Raptors jerseys? Well, when they wear those old school white jerseys with the blue print that are Huskies jerseys, it's a nostalgia thing because it just looks like the jerseys that they wore in the first game ever in the NBA in Maple Leaf Gardens when we played the Knicks. It's a historical thing, but you know, Huskies, we can't go anywhere with that. Yukon Huskies, in some ways, it's too similar to Minnesota Timberwolves. That you know, we can't really go too much into the Huskies like kind of stuff. We've done a Huskies throwback stuff though. We did that in one of our earlier like commemorative years. We did Huskies jerseys like in our 10th year of our league, I think 10th or 15th year. And then the 20th anniversary, we did the purple dinosaur jersey. 25th, we did the white dinosaur jersey, and 30th, we did the purple front black back. So
Yeah, leave them in the past. That's what I'm saying. That's right. That's right. Yeah, Seymour saying no knock on purple. I agree with your love and passion for the team. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Seymour saying James, those are such hard jerseys. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Red and white. Yes, Canadian colors. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Let's do it. Let's do it. They won't. Some ways I feel like, all right, I'm gonna get into conspiracy theory mindset with my friend Stargate, that they won't let us do it for nationalistic pride reasons. That in some ways they didn't like seeing the Raptors in 2019 wearing red and white jerseys and kicking the Golden State Warriors ass and winning a championship. It was too nationalistic. It was too much able to foster Canadian national pride that the Toronto Raptors wear a red and white jersey. No, the Raptors maybe were told, you guys can't do red and white. I'm sorry. Red and black is fine, though. So you guys can do lots of red and black after that, because in some ways you'll have the inverse jersey where you'll be wearing black and red accent and you'll look like the bad guys. Because if we have you wearing too many white jerseys with red trim, you might look like the good guys, or you might look like too Canadian nationalistic. That kind of stuff. I'm thinking there's a little bit of conspiracy in there. That's what I'm saying. That they like told the Raptors they couldn't have their colors as red and white. They told them maybe Team Canada and Rowan Barrett said, "Oh man, you're getting in our territory. You might look like Team Canada too much, Raptors, if you're wearing red and white." Maybe it's the Rockets. The Rockets are saying those are our primary colors, Raptors. We're red and white. And if y'all try and get in our territory, you can't, because we're gonna be confusing if we play each other. And y'all are red and white. We're red and white too. Who's gonna be who? You know, that kind of stuff. I don't know. The teams do have to kind of figure out whose colors are whose and not share them. You know what I'm saying? Brian's here. Good to see King. What's up, Freak Nation? Hope y'all are doing good and y'all enjoyed the last video covering LeBron. Yeah, he's saying Latire. Latire. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's King from To The Point, and he dropped some new content. I haven't watched it myself yet. I've been so busy with family. But I'll definitely be checking out your To The Point clip on LeBron and whether he should retire, Brian. I appreciate what you do, man. Dap to you, sir. Dap. And I got to get out of here. I'm under 5 minutes till 2 hours. And so we're going to do a wrap up real quick. WNBA starting tonight, y'all. Can the New York Liberty repeat as the WNBA champions this season? We'll have to see. There's a lot of games to be played, and they're starting tonight. So get your fantasy teams for WNBA set up and be ready to play. Mike, Logical Raptors fanatic, get your team lined up. Ready. Yeah, Oklahoma City did not manage to beat the Nuggets last night, so there will be a Game 7 on Sunday, and that'll be very, very interesting. Y'all, check out Salmon Jerky by the Hardy Boys. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. Good Canadian product. Buy Canadian. Keep it in Canada. That's right. Our officials for tonight's game, Boston and New York, Game 6. James Capers is the crew chief. He favors the Celtics. Tyler Ford is the referee. He favors the Celtics. And Ed Malloy is the umpire. He heavily favors the Celtics, and I'm going to predict right now that man in particular, that individual, is going to be very, very much hated by the New York Knicks fans tonight when he helps the Celtics even out the series, and they're going to have to go to a Game 7 in Boston. I'm predicting this right now. I've seen this script before. Ed Malloy does this for this particular team in particular. He really helps the Celtics. He's done it to the Raptors a few times, so I know he can do it again tonight. Tony Brothers in the replay center, watching from afar. Let's see. Yeah, other good stuff. Yeah, happy birthday, John Sally and Terrence Davis. That's it, guys. I think we're done for the stream today. I appreciate everybody watching the Raptor Freak Friday Freakout. Freaking out about WNBA starting up today. Tomorrow, we'll share the love. I'm not totally sure who the subject is. I'll figure it out tonight, and we'll get it all set up for a Saturday Share the Love Club Saturday morning. Appreciate everybody being here with me, sharing some time with me. Let's go, Canada. That's right, Brian. Check out To The Point in his latest clip on LeBron. I'm sure it's hilarious. I'm sure it's awesome. You got Jose on there on that clip, Brian. Yeah, Jose is one of your better guests. I like that dude, man. That dude's really knows his stuff. And a lot of times I agree with what he's saying most of the time. Jose is one of your guests that I'm like, yeah, he's on point. He's on point. Not everybody you have on the show is on point, but Jose is. I'll say that about your guy, Jose. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Toronto Tempo and play next year in the WNBA starting today. Let's go. 1 year away, Tempo. We coming. That's right. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and join the channel if you feel like it. Let's go Toronto.